Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today, we're going to take a look at Soul, the newest Pixar movie that was released last week on Disney Plus. And this is a movie I've been really looking forward to. I was super glad to finally see it. I wasn't sure if it was going to come out this year, but it was finally released on Disney Plus after a couple delays. And I got to say, the wait was worth it. This is probably one of Pixar's best movies since Coco in 2017 and Inside Out from 2015. I really enjoy this for a lot of reasons, but mainly because it's really deep. This is a movie that really focuses on a lot of philosophical and psychological themes. And it's really, really similar to Inside Out. That's something that really stood out to me, is like how similar it was to that movie. And actually, Inside Out is one of my favorite Pixar movies, just behind Monsters, Inc. But I thought this was a great experience. I think it has a lot of value. And yeah, let's get into a little bit deeper into Soul and why I loved it so much. So the plot of Soul focuses on a character named Joe Gardner, who is a music teacher at a middle school and also a pianist who aspires to be a famous jazz musician in the jazz scene in New York City. And one day he receives a really big opportunity, but the same day he also has a close encounter with death that transports his soul into the afterlife. And this is where the movie really gets deep. So in this new world, this dimension of the afterlife and basically the spiritual realm is my favorite part of the movie, because it's basically a giant analogy for a lot of things, including personality, how souls are born. So let me explain a little bit about how it works. So souls are born out of nothing, and they're basically blank slates. And over the course of their stay in the afterlife, they start gaining their personalities and something called their spark, which kind of it's what people have that sparks them to do stuff. So for example, my spark would be like music, making videos, all sorts of things, like curiosities that people develop. And after that, they make their journey into Earth, but they have to earn these things and basically find their spark. And this is a thing I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed like the analogies of all these things. It reminded me a lot of Inside Out, like how personalities and memories and preferences are kind of like personified by these things living in the head, like the emotions personified, like joy, happiness. So in Soul, instead of emotions, it's basically all these things that were really relatable to me. Like, I thought it was great how they used all these things to take on important themes. So that's something I really liked about Soul. Along the way, Joe encounters a different soul named 22, who kind of is a soul that's been in the afterlife for a long time, and she basically needs to find her passion in order to go to Earth. So Joe kind of helps her with that. They get transported into Earth, and Joe arrives at he takes over the body of a cat, and 22 takes over the body of Joe. And this is another one of my favorite parts of the movie, because it really shows a lot of things that are important of the human experience. Like, it shows 22 basically confused about all this stuff. She's like talking about, why would anybody like to do like be alive? And then over the course of the movie, she starts experiencing things, like eating pizza, taking in like all the experiences, feeling the air, tasting, feeling, loving. And that's I think that's a really important theme that I don't think an animated movie has taken on. Themes like meditation that are really important, self-introspection. These are all things that Soul touches upon, and themes are really I'm passionate about. So I was really happy to see this in the movie, and the way Pixar handled these themes. That are kind of like mature themes, but they do it in a way that children can understand them and realize their importance. From a production standpoint, Soul is really well done and really well written. This is a movie that I thought it was really funny. There's a lot of hilarious moments, really funny jokes. For example, it makes a lot of references to historical figures and the way they related to 22 and her history. And this is something I really enjoyed. I thought it was like all those references were funny. And it's basically super well written. Like, the pace moves really fast. It's also, I would call it a very mature movie too. Like, the themes it handles and the way it kind of like explains big concepts might make it confusing for children, but there's also other moments that are fun and that kind of like explain them in a simple way. And I love Soul for this. I love the way it was written and the way it was made to be appealing to everybody. And the ending is also really it made me think a lot. Like this movie just made me think a lot, and that's like the main thing about it that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed the way like Joe realizes that life isn't really made to be taken that seriously in a way. Obviously, it's good to have goals and have aspirations and all that kind of stuff, but like the real essence of life is kind of enjoying the little moments. You know, it's like having a chat with friends, enjoying the breeze of the air, walking in a beach. You know, feeling the ocean, feeling the sand. Just basically the joy of being alive, and that's kind of like the final takeaway from the movie that I noticed. And I think it really has a an important message. And the movie is really full of important messages. Like I feel like it needs a second watch to kind of like absorb it fully and kind of like take in all the analogies and realize like how actually deep this movie is. So yeah, I think Soul is a really well produced movie. It has a lot of amazing moments. And honestly, the only thing I can really criticize is like the animation on the human characters sometimes reaches like uncanny valley levels of realism. For example, like the fingers and the eyes. It kind of feels like too realistic for animated humans. So I think Pixar should just kind of like chill in their future movies involving humans, like make them more like the Incredibles, where it feels apparent that they're cartoons, like the because I feel like the style of this movie kind of like focuses too much on photorealism. And, you know, with the cartoon characters, it kind of doesn't really mesh that well. But I don't know. I felt that was fine. It wasn't really that big of a deal. But yeah, like overall, I think Soul is an amazing movie. It has really great lessons. It has a really amazing and deep philosophical themes. It goes deep into the psychology of human beings. And I love the whole concept of the afterlife and how souls are made before going into Earth. So yeah, I think Soul is a great movie, and I'm gonna give it an 85 out of 100. Definitely one of the best of 2020. And yeah, I think that's everything for today. See you guys later.